أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا حبيبنا محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, we thank Allah for giving us another opportunity to be here on a Friday to pray Jum'ah. Alhamdulillah. Say Alhamdulillah. Don't ever be shy in saying Alhamdulillah. You know why you should never be shy in saying Alhamdulillah? It's because Allah has enabled you to have a life this morning. When you went to sleep last night, you all died. We all died. In fact, our dua for going to sleep was Allahumma bi ismika amutu wa ahya. In your name, Ya Allah, I die and I shall rise again. Or I die and I rise. And when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you should have said is Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah alladhi ahyana ba'dama amatana wa ilayhi al-nushur. Basically, thanking Allah for giving you life after you had died. The fact that you are alive, the fact that you have good health, even if you don't have good health, the fact that you are alive. The fact that you could walk, for there are many who can't walk. The fact that you have eyes, there are many who are blind. The fact that you can speak, there are many who can't speak. The fact that you can hear, there are many who can't hear in the world. The fact that you have breakfast, and then the fact that you will have lunch when you go back home, or you've already had yours, and you'll have dinner. The fact that you've got family, the fact that you've got parents, children, the fact that you are alive with all the ni'mah and blessings of Allah should be sufficient for you to say, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, again and again and again. Brothers and sisters, thanking Allah is part and parcel of our natural well-being. If you thank Allah, Allah will give you much in return. If you thank Allah, Allah will tell His angels to thank you, to praise you, to glorify you, to guide you, to be constantly making dua for you. It's a holiday season today, so our children are with us. I want to read to you a hadith, and I will make this hadith more children friendly. So the language of the hadith, I will make it in such a way that people can understand without changing the meaning of the hadith. Prophet ﷺ said, by the way, this hadith was chosen by my children this morning. I asked them, which hadith shall I talk about today? And they chose this hadith. My daughter chose the hadith and my son put the khutbah together, which I am very pleased with, and may Allah give them the strength to be able to do more, inshallah, and all our children. There are 7 groups of people who will receive shade on the Day of Judgment when there will be no shade, except the shade of Allah. First category of people who will receive shade from Allah are those people who are just, rulers who are just, who are fair, rulers who are fair. Second categories of people who will receive the shade of Allah on the Day of Judgment will be young people who grew up worshipping Allah. Young people who grew up worshipping Allah. Third category of people will be a person whose heart is attached to the mosque. A person whose heart is attached to the mosque. Number 4, 2 people who loved each other for the sake of Allah. Met like this and left one another like this. Number 5, a person who was called by somebody of the opposite gender but said, no, I fear Allah. Number 6, a person who gave charity And when he or she gave charity, gave with their left hand while their right hand, or gave with their right hand while their left hand did not know. Number 7, a person who remembers Allah privately and in private shed tears in remembering Allah. So my brothers and sisters, 7 categories of people who Allah will give shade when there will be no shade. My dear sisters at the top, I would like you to stop talking. I can hear talking going on at the back. When Imam is doing the khutbah, we are absolutely not allowed to talk. I do not want to hear anyone talking because that's the sunnah of Rasulullah. He said, don't talk when the Imam is doing the khutbah. In fact, don't tell somebody else not to talk if you are listening. I can. I'm allowed. But you can't even tell somebody else not to talk. So wherever you are, brothers or sisters, please don't talk. Listen to the khutbah. It's part and parcel of Jum'ah. So the first category is a category of people, just rulers. Rulers who give you justice, who rule you by fairness, who give you opportunities, who don't discriminate you. That's the first category of people. Unfortunately today, most Muslim countries don't fall and don't fulfill this criteria. Most Muslim rulers are unjust, unfair, despotic, and have not been elected onto power. They have taken power by force, and when they take power by force, they stay in power by force. They don't want to ever leave. Children, you and I live in a country, our country, UK, Britain, has justice and fairness in every aspect of our life in this country. If you've got a problem, if somebody mugs you, you can call the police and police will come and try and protect you. If somebody attacks you, you can call the police and police will come and provide you protection. If your family is feeling in danger, you can call the police and they will come and look after you. You don't have to give police any bribe. You don't have to give them extra money to look after you. You don't have to buy justice by paying anybody extra money. You will have access to justice. In most Muslim countries, sadly, that is not true. Sadly, remember this, sadly, it is not true. We make dua, Allah guides them, please say Ameen. And Allah makes all the countries in the world fair and just. Second category of people is the one I'm most interested in today. Where Rasulullah said, a young person who grows up worshipping Allah. You know, young people, when you're young and when you're strong, you're able to fly the world, you can forget about Allah if you want to. Because as far as you're concerned, who's Allah? He really doesn't exist in my life. I can do anything I like. I've got 2 hands, 2 legs, I've got a brain, I've got my car, I've got my money. If you're younger, you feel free. Of course you're free. Allah has given you the freedom. You can forget Allah if that's what you want, but don't forget. If you forget Allah, you'll be in trouble in this world and in the hereafter. Your life will be in misery. So when you're young and your mind is wanting to wander all over and you want to forget Allah, it's the time to say to yourself, no, I will be free and wander the world, but I will never forget Allah. I will travel the world, but I will not forget Allah. I will study and become the best student in the world. I will not forget Allah. I will become the best person in my job. I'll have the most successful business in the world. I'll become the richest man or the woman, but I will never forget Allah. For those who don't forget Allah, they remain good people. It makes you good. It allows you to become fair with people. It allows you to become kind and generous with people. It reminds you of the fact that you will die and you will face Allah one day. It reminds you of the fact that on the day of judgment, Allah will ask you questions about your life. It makes you want to look after your parents. It makes you want to be kind to your parents. It makes you want to be good to your fellow human beings. Because you know Allah is watching you and Allah loves you and Allah wants you to get the best in this world and best in the hereafter. Young people especially. When I was younger, we all were young one day. Especially those of us who are old now with some grey beard or all grey beard and grey hair. When we were younger, we went through the same feelings as you are going through right now as young people. I give you a big challenge. When you have a cold, temperature, flu, runny nose, headache, you can't get out of your bed. When you eat something wrong and your stomach hurts, you need to run to the toilet very quickly. When you have a small splinter in your hand, you need to get it out as soon as possible. When you fall and hurt yourself, you cry your eyes out. All these things, brothers and sisters, show something very unique about you. You are weak. You are not the Superman that you think you are. You're not the Spider-Man, the fantasy character that you see in cartoons and films. You are. You're not a Spider-Man. You're not a Superman. You're a human being. Human being is better than Spider-Man and Superman because those are fantasy figures. You are truly human being because you've got a brain and you use it for the right way. You've got a hand, you use it for the right thing. You've got legs, you use it for the right thing. You've got a mouth, you speak the truth and that which is right. That's why you're a human being. Never underestimate your power. Young people, some of you are too worried about what you wear in your feet, your shoes, your labeled t-shirts and trousers, but you don't think about what's going in your brain. Think about it. Don't reverse it. Feet, what you wear on your feet is for comfort. But you waste all your money in buying your labeled shoes and nothing in your head, it shows where you are going. I ask many young people, what do you want to be when you grow up? They say they want to be a footballer or a famous person. They don't want to use their brain. They don't want to use their skills. They don't want to really seek out the best of this world. Football and fame, you may think it's an easy way to becoming rich and finding happiness. Think again. The footballers work 12 to 13 hours a day. Grueling exercise, training every day. They're skilled at what they do. Maybe they get too much money and that's what you're looking for, but not everyone is able to do that. Those who become famous using television, media, and using all sorts of rubbish sometimes, their fame is short-lived. They have miserable time, don't know what to do with their fame. But if you use your brain in the right way, to pursue your dream, to become the Prime Minister of this country one day, to become the philosopher who changed the world, to become the inventor who made the newest invention, to become the teacher who changed children around the world, to become the Imam who gave vision to his community, to become the best father, best mother, best leader of your community, using your brain. That's when you are growing up, becoming attached and close to Allah. If you forget all that, you've wasted your time and your youthful days. How many years will you live, young people? 50, 60, 70 years? I can tell you now. I was 18 one day, I became 20, 30, 40, 50. Now, in my late 40s, I'm thinking to myself, subhanallah, it's only downhill. I'm looking forward to how many more years? 20, 30 years, then I'm gone. 40 years, more than half of my life is gone. I cannot reverse it. You cannot go back in time. When you're young, don't waste it. You cannot find your young age anymore. When you become 10, you can't become 8 anymore. When you become 15, you can't become 12 anymore. When you become 20, you can never become 15 again. You become older and older. Utilize your time. That's what Allah says. Prophet says, a young person who grows up worshipping Allah, close to Allah, remembering Allah, becomes successful in this world and the hereafter, they will receive shade on the Day of Judgment, under the shade of Allah, where there will be no shade except the shade Allah gives. On the Day of Judgment, when the sun will be right above our head. It's a terrible day on that day. But you can be safe on that day too, by focusing your energy in becoming close to Allah. And finally, becoming close to Allah, young people, is about knowing Allah sees you, knows you, and is fully aware of everything that you do and you think. Allah knows everything. Allah is present all the time in all places. Can you name me a place where Allah doesn't exist? No. Can you name me a place where you can hide, Allah doesn't know about? No. Can you eat any food that doesn't come from Allah? No. Can you prolong your life longer than you're supposed to? You cannot. Can you delay your death? You can't. Can you escape the Day of Judgment? You can't. Can you change any of these things? No. You can't. If you can't hide from Allah, if you can't find food that comes from anybody else, why not become close to Allah? So young people, knowing that Allah sees and hears everything, Allah knows everything, is how you become closer to Allah every day. Not because you're afraid of Allah, because you love Allah, because you want to meet Allah on the Day of Judgment, Because you want to receive the reward Allah has promised you on the Day of Judgment. Because you value your life Allah has given you. This life Allah has given you, this body Allah has given you, nobody else could have given you this body. Even if you paid millions of pounds, billions of pounds, nobody could give you a body like one that Allah has given you. Nobody, forget about the body, nobody can give you the eye that you have. I'm wearing glasses today. I didn't wear glasses 1 year ago. My eyesight is getting worse. My knee's hurting now, I'm 47. I can't replace my knee anymore. I can't replace my eyes anymore. My hair's growing. I can't make them dark anymore. You can't change what Allah has given you, and you can't buy what Allah has given you, young people. So therefore become closer to Allah every day by remembering what Allah has given you. SubhanAllah. What Allah hasn't given you, think about it. If Allah was to take your eyes away, what would you do? If Allah was to take your hands away, what would you do? I want you to be aware that you should be grateful to Allah, and because Allah loves you, He's given you everything that you need. Everything that you need, Allah has given you. Third category of people are people who are close to Allah, and therefore they're also close to their mosques. They come to pray, all their prayer in the mosques. Not just pray at home. Of course, if you live far away, I understand. In this country, always traveling to the mosque is not easy. Weather condition could be bad. I understand all that. But your heart should be attached to the mosque. If you haven't come to the mosque for a few days, you miss your mosque. And if you're neighboring to a mosque, you should pray all your prayers in a mosque. All your prayers in a mosque. Prophet ﷺ said that if I wasn't worried about hardship on people, I would have made an obligation upon all of you to pray all your prayer in the mosque. We should, because mosque creates the unified feeling of brotherhood and sisterhood. We get to see one another. We get to feel about how things are going. We get to stand next to somebody who may not be happy, but my salam, my hug, my asking him or her how they are may lift up their day and make it better. Me being aware of their difficulty, I may be able to lend a hand. Mosque is about a community of people, not alone. You're not Muslim on your own. A Muslim is a group of people together. You're like one body, Prophet ﷺ said. If one part of the body is feeling pain, the rest of the body is feeling the hurt. Or if one part of the body is hurt, the rest of the body is feeling pain and staying awake. Brothers and sisters, young people especially, make your life mosque-centered, not club-centered. Make your life mosque-centered, not your PlayStation-centered. Make your life mosque-centered, not glued to your screen, either on the internet or television or YouTube or any other Instagram or Snapchat or whatever chat you like. Make your life mosque-centered. For those will go, but mosque will elevate you, make you bigger, better, and more successful. How much time do you have on your hand to waste on Snapchat, on this, that, and the other? How much time do you waste on browsing the internet, and how productive are you? I am not telling you not to read. You can read, of course. Most books nowadays are on the internet, I know. I read them on my phone all the time. But use them productively. You're the only one who knows how useful you are or how wasteful you are. If you're using your phone continuously to play games, you're wasting your time. If you're using your phone or your tablet or your modern gadget in reading, in doing work, in expanding your brain, your thinking, then you're becoming successful. I would say to young people, make your life mosque-centered. And to the mosques, I say the same thing. Mosque management, wherever they are, they need to make our mosques more exciting and interesting and accessible for children. All the space in a mosque remains empty and unused most of the time. Why? Mosques should have youth centers. Mosques should have space where children can come and play. And small space for prayers, of course, but when you need more space, open up the rest of the space for prayers. But it must be attractive for the children. It must be attractive for our sisters, our mothers, our fathers, our brothers, our families, our neighbors. Young people, old people, make your life mosque-centered. For Allah will give you shade on the Day of Judgment when there is no shade. And fourth category of people is the one who said, I love you for the sake of Allah to one another. Those who love one another, brothers, sisters, we love each other for the sake of Allah. There is two types of love. One is love for my family. Remember this. The love that I have for my family. My parents, my brothers, my sisters, my wife, my children. my uncles, my aunts, my grandparents, my family, I have a unique love for. That is, of course, without giving, without even compromising. But there is a love for your community of brothers and sisters in the community. So a Muslim is a Muslim brother or a sister to one another. We love one another for the sake of Allah. And that love is so strong and so powerful. No friendship can replace it. On the Day of Judgment, when you love your brother or your sister for the sake of Allah, Allah says He will give you shade when there will be no shade. Number 5, a person who resisted temptation from the opposite side. Number 6, a man who, or a woman who gave charity in secret, such that when he gave with his right hand, or she gave with her right hand, left hand did not know. And a person who remembered Allah privately and cried for the sake of Allah. My brothers and sisters, I pray Allah gives us all, especially young people, the power to become closer to Allah, power to become successful in this world and the hereafter. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wa salatu wa salamu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Time is running out very fast, so I'll finish. So when you give charity, young people, you give charity because with charity you get to learn the pains of the other people. We get to share your experience. A couple of days ago, we were doing an experiment with a group of young people. We were teaching young people during this holiday. We had a four-day program in the Palmer's Green Mosque the other day, and there were a group of 22 young kids. One exercise was for them to give away something they love very much to somebody around, another child. 80% of those children found it difficult to give away what they loved most. They were making excuses. It's my toy. It's something that my parents bought. I can't give away. We were teaching children to give away. Some of them gave away, others didn't give away. My brothers and sisters, often your children mimic you. If you are attached to your wealth, your children will be attached to their wealth. If you are money-driven, your children will be money-driven. If your children see you giving away in charity, they will have no problem in giving away in charity. What are you going to take with you in your grave? Nothing. Children, when you go, when you die, when we all die, we take nothing with us. When I die, I'm telling my son and my daughter, I take nothing. I take nothing with me. Just bury me in a piece of cloth, if I am fortunate. Do my janazah and make dua for me. That's what I do. And make dua for me when I'm gone. So, don't teach your children to become materialistic, and don't you be the same. Detach yourself from material. Allah will give you shade on the Day of Judgment when there will be no shade. And the final one, those who cry for the sake of Allah in private. They shed tears, remembering Allah, thanking Allah, praising Allah, crying to Allah for His mercy and forgiveness, asking Allah to forgive them, asking Allah to strengthen them. If we don't do that enough, we are shallow people. If we don't cry to Allah enough, we are shallow people. Because our source of power comes from Him, Azza wa Jal. Our strong source of strength comes from Allah, the Creator of the universe. And the only way you connect with Allah is by asking Him, Allah Azza wa Jal, privately and secretly. Cry your eyes out thanking Him. Cry your eyes out thanking Him and praising Him. And asking Him for whatever you want. May Allah give us the strength to be able to do all of this. May Allah enable us in our religion, in our faith, in our taqwa, in our iman. May Allah empower us all. May Allah forgive us our sins. May Allah protect our children. May Allah protect our children. Guide them to the right path and keep them on this path. May Allah free Al-Aqsa from occupation. May Allah free Yemen from the troubles, Syria from the troubles, Kashmir from occupation. May Allah free all parts of the world, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Ya Allah, protect us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, protect us, Ya Allah. Have mercy on us, Ya Allah. Unite our hearts, Ya Allah. Increase our love for one another, Ya Allah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أقم الصلاة.